was great. It was great for me. I had no issues. I had lots of fun, and I never had to shovel any snow. So it was fantastic. My father had a lot of great relationships with a lot of famous people. They're famous now. He was very close to the Motown group. He taught several of the Temptations and the Four Tops. Melvin Franklin was one of my godfathers from the Temptations. He grew up with Berry Gordy. And funny story is that, now these guys all went to like elementary, junior high, and high school together and remained friends throughout life. So Barry wanted to start a record label and came to my father and a few of his other friends and said, "You guys, I want to put together this record label. Can you loan me $500? He was trying to get $500 from everyone. That was a ton of money back then. And so my dad said, "Barry, man, I want to do it, but that's just going to be a little tight, for me," and he didn't. So.
Dang.
But my father had a very, very close connection to Detroit and to the youth of Detroit. And it was so important for him to remain in Detroit. So he commuted to Ann Arbor, to Michigan, every day for work. In his youth, he had coaches and teachers that were so instrumental in his life in developing him into a good athlete, a good student, and so forth. And he wanted to be that presence for youth in Detroit. He felt like he would be abandoning them if he went to Ann Arbor, moved there. So he stayed to Detroit and commuted. That was a long commute, like 45 minutes.
Yes.
In
back
snow.
Then, they got better freeways now, but
Now,
back then,
right.
yes. But no, that you saw some of the clips where coaches at Northwestern. So he goes up to Detroit. He plays ball in Northwestern, Detroit Northwestern High School. Coached at Detroit Northwestern High School. We were talking earlier, not sure about what the actual stats are, but it was something like his head coaching was
I think
record.
in total he coached JV basketball at Northwestern for, I think, 3 seasons, and then coached the varsity team for the next 5. And I believe his record during that time was 206 wins and 7 losses.
Oh.
Yeah.
They won the Detroit Public School Championship every year for 6 years in a row. They didn't lose.
And I remember one of those years because back then Channel 50 used to have the contract with the Detroit Pistons. So this particular game, there was Detroit Pershing against Detroit Northwestern.
Who had Spencer Haywood.
That's
and
right.
Ralph Simpson.
Pershing had 2 NBA future All-Stars in Spencer Haywood and Ralph Simpson. But Northwestern had the Fox. And there was so much interest in this game that Channel 50 said, "We are not going to televise the Pistons tonight. We're going to televise this high school game between Pershing and Northwestern." And Northwestern won.
Of course.
Of course.
And now, Bob, to add to that, you had John Mayberry, who became a professional baseball player,
On
and Curtis
Northwestern.
Jones, who was one of the all-time playground greats.
Exactly. Now, if y'all are wondering who that is over here, that is Eric Money.
It's my other big brother.
That's right.
Eric Money. Stand up, Eric.
No, you good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, personal tidbit. Eric and I might be the only people that ever played together basketball at the high school level, college level, and pro. We were on a high school team that represented the city of Detroit. I lived in Ann Arbor. They lied. In fact, they gave me your aunt's address to say I was in Detroit. Okay.
That was the 15 under team, right?
The 15 under team. Yep. Then we come to Arizona, played a year, and then we played the New Jersey Nets for a year. So when he talks, I listen because he was the point guard. And Tommy, Big guys, we don't get the rock unless the point guard gives it to you. So he was my man, he's always my man, and will be my man. So that's the truth. Yes, yes.